So joining us now, who I believe is actually out
you think
there.
This guy would say he has no dog in the race?
In the game?
Yeah,
Absolutely
when
not.
The Eagles were playing the Chiefs last year. Oh, my bad.
Jason Kelce joins us now.
Spot.
What's up, Jason?
What's up, Spike? How we doing?
We're doing good, man.
What's up, Kels?
How we doing, Ike?
I'm doing good, brother.
So, when we booked you to talk about the 22 season, we, of course, did not see the Jeff Stoutland news coming. Right. Jeff Stoutland leaving the team. I guess just leave it open to you. What are your thoughts on Stout leaving the team?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm incredibly sad. This is a guy that meant a lot to me in my career and a lot of my teammates, and it was more than just as a coach. Who he is as a person, how he is, who he is in the building is going to be missed. And you're not going to, he's a one-on-one guy. So, it's just, even regardless of how they replace him, it's just not going to be the same in there. It's not going to be the same joy seeing him on the sidelines for the Eagles. And, everything he did, I mean, I think he can look back and certainly look back pretty fondly on the years that we had collectively in Philadelphia, the guys we had and what the O-line did under his leadership. He was more than just a coach to me. He's a friend. He was a mentor. He was every bit a part of my life off the field, just as much as it was on the field. So it sucks, to be honest with you, Spike.
Yeah, and so many of your teammates, Jason, particularly at your position, have echoed the same thing throughout the years about Stoutland. When they leave here, they talk about how much Coach Stoutland helped them develop as a player. And, everybody doesn't get the chance to retire as an Eagle, but there are plenty of guys that have left here that he helped mold into pro players that have gone on and do some nice things elsewhere. Let me ask you this, Kels, as it pertains to sort of when I hear run game coordinator's responsibility. I have an idea of what I think that means, but who better to tell us than you? What does that sort of incorporate when we hear run game coordinator? How much of an impact or an influence did Coach Stoutland have on the run game and the game plan week to week?
Yeah, it's a great question, Ike. And to be honest, you would think I would know more fully, but I probably, coaches probably know better, right? I would see the game plan, and certainly, Stout was in charge of installing everything in the game plan to the offensive line. And it was obvious talking to him and throughout the week, and we would talk about plays that we thought would be good, plays that he really liked against, his team's base front, first and second down, regular ball, all that stuff, right, that you're putting in for the week and what you're expecting. And Stout had a major impact on that. As far as run game coordinator, I don't know to what degree when that officially became part of his title, if it was the whole time, but the offensive line coach is always going to have a huge hand in the run game. And Stout had a huge hand in it when he was in Philadelphia for his entirety. As far as the coordinator position, I'm sure that there's more nuance to it where they're in charge of specific situations of installing runs. And these are you're going to put in 15 to 20 runs in regular ball, first, second down situations. Then you're going to have your runs in the red zone, high red. You're going to have your runs in the low red. He was in charge of building all of that out, to my knowledge. But you're kind of also doing it as a group. He would sit in there with the tight ends coach, with the running backs coach, his assistants. It's collaborative, but I think the bottom line is the coordinator usually has he's the one really making the final decision. He's taking all the input from all of the people around him, all the discussions they've had throughout the week, and then the final thing that goes on the sheet and what we're really doing, that's what the coordinator's job is, to my knowledge, of this is his final say, right? It's like when Nick Foles comes up and recommends Philly special in the game, right? Doug had to call it. And I think it's similar when you're building out the run plan. There's a lot of hands and people that touch it, but Stout was kind of the focal point, especially when that title was a part of, his title.
Jason, last question about Stout. Were you surprised?
Yeah, I was. I was surprised that it came to this because I don't think either of them really wanted this outcome. Stout loves Philadelphia, and he loves that building. He loves a lot of people in it. And I certainly don't think the Eagles wanted him leaving as the offensive line coach. So I think it's just, it's an unfortunate thing that happens through change. And he's been one of the constants through so much change, right? Like, I was on the morning show a couple weeks ago, reminiscing. Like, I had 4 different head coaches, and I went to 2 different Super Bowls, playoffs with each one of them. Like, I had a very odd career, and I only, through all those coaches, like, I had one offensive line coach for the most part. I had Howard Mudd early in my career for 2 years, but Stout was there with Chip. He was able to reinvent himself with Doug. He was able to reinvent himself with Nick and, like, incorporate into all that change. But this one's pretty drastic with what I think they're trying to accomplish with Mannion. I think this is a signal very clearly that, they want to really reevaluate what this offense is, what they want it to look like. And, I think that it's not that surprising when you look at it from there, where it's like, this is a big change, and Stout's at a point in his career where, it's not that surprising, I guess. But all in all, I was still surprised when the news officially came out, for sure.
Jason Kelce on with us. So I do want to ask you questions about the thing that we told you we were going to talk to you about. Not that we promised this wasn't a swerve. So
I expected the swerve.
So the Eagles always swerve. It's one thing. I don't know if it felt that way in the building, but outside the building, we were always looking at swerves. So the 21 team was good. But then it was a fine, good team. But then the 22 team became pretty dominant during the regular season. Were you surprised at how good that team got that quickly?
I wasn't, because of the way we ended in 21. I think we ended 21 really strong, minus the playoff game against Tampa. But we all felt like we were really starting to turn a corner. It felt like Jalen was really starting to turn a corner as a player and a leader within the building and on the field. We were a very run-dominant team, but you could see the progression happening. And then, obviously, A.J. Brown comes in, and it was just like, we see the talent there. And, I don't think we were that surprised as a group that we were one of the best teams in the NFL. Did I expect to go to the Super Bowl? I mean, you kind of, it's weird. You always expect to go to the Super Bowl coming into a season almost. Like, some of them feel more realistic than others. Like, I remember in 2017, us all looking around in training camp and be like, man, we got a special group here. Like, you kind of get that feeling. And we felt that way, I think, at 22. I think we knew that we were more talented than a lot of the teams in the NFL. And, usually that translates into a lot of success. And, it was an awesome year. We were doing a lot of interesting, innovative things. And that's where the team's going now, I don't want to keep going into that, but like in 2017 with Doug and those guys, we were doing these RPOs, and we were doing wham, a play that had kind of left the league because the fullback position left, and then teams started doing it out of 12 personnel, or 12 personnel with another tight end, whamming, which like cracking and trapping a 3 technique. And then in 21, we were starting to do these counter tray reads with Jalen and this split zone, inside zone run with the RPO on the backside, and teams didn't really know how to defend it. And it almost felt like a cheat code, like similar to the tush push as being like an automatic first down. We could run this split zone play anytime we needed to get a little chunk play of 7-8 yards to get something going. And it just felt like all of that was clicking together throughout the whole year. And, Shane Steichen did a great job calling plays. Gannon, I know he's much liked in the Philadelphia area, but that defense is really good. So, we felt really good about who we were entering the season. And then as you kept going, we felt like we could compete with anybody.
I look back at that 22 team, Jay, and I say the biggest thing for me was Jalen's play at the quarterback position. I think it was hard to not recognize that. He was playing at an MVP level pretty much throughout the season. Yes, AJ had joined the team that year, and that certainly added to it from an offensive weaponry standpoint. But Jalen certainly played that year at an MVP level. Just your thoughts on watching his play over the last few years. They won a Super Bowl last year, and he was Super Bowl MVP. I'm just wondering, like, are you seeing a difference in his style of play or his decision making or anything of that nature that he was doing 2 or 3 years ago that it seems like the offense gets stuck in the rut. It's certainly this past year. And from his position, it doesn't always seem to be flowing or clicking as smoothly as it should. Is there anything you're noticing there from his position?
It's tough. I want to know more about the quarterback and passing game and receiver position. Like, that's something I really do want to dive in. I think that we were really doing some new things in 22, and he was playing great. We were also like A.J. Brown. Like, I remember that Pittsburgh Steelers game, like the Giants. Like, it almost just felt like we always knew what was happening.
Yeah.
Like, I remember going in against the Giants at Wake Martindale, and Wink could bring blitzes from all over the place, and we just had a great beat on it. We had a great feel as a team, and Jalen was dialed in on it. And, when he is confident and knows where to go with the ball and feels good, he is as good as anybody. I really do think that, and he's proven that in big, meaningful games. And I think it feels like the last few years, it just like it hasn't been clicking, and you have to keep evolving as a player, as a coach, all of it. And it feels like a lot of the things that worked really well in 22, we continued to try and do. And then as you start having, as you start struggling, you resort back to the things that you've done well in the past. So it almost like then compounds that you're doing too much of all that stuff even more, if that makes sense. Like you end up resorting to all these things that were really good for a couple years. It's like, no, we gotta kind of move this forward in a way. And they tried to this year. About halfway through the year, they started doing more under center stuff and tried to do some, more routes over the middle and whatnot. But it's hard to make that shift in the middle of the season. And I think it's a really good thing for Jalen and the team for where they're at, that they're going to have some outside perspective. Because I think, when you're there for a long time and you've had success and you're used to looking at it through a lens of 4 or 5 years, it's hard to look at it for what it is right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what they're going to get the benefit of with the new coaches coming in, an off season of like, this is all great what we've done before. Where is this team at now? Why are we struggling here? Why is A.J. Brown not wide open all the time? It's because he's one of the best receivers in the league, and that shouldn't be the case. And I think Jalen will I anticipate him playing a lot better with all of that added. I think he's shown multiple times throughout college and the pros, right? Like he came in, we were doing nothing but read option and run plays in 21. Then all of a sudden he starts throwing the ball, bombs over Baghdad. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, you can say it. Yeah, it's fine.
we Outcast made that. All right. Anyways, he evolved there very clearly. Then when I stepped down, like he took over more in the protection world, and like he answered that. So he's proven to continually be able to learn and evolve as a player. So I think it's just at that point where it needs an influx of creative energy and desire to make it new and all of that. So, yeah.
So, Jason, we had Fletcher Cox on earlier, and I asked him this question, and he got really mad at me when I asked him this question because I did not see it coming, because I'm not going to tell you why he got mad. He did answer it.
Sure.
If the 17 team were to play the 22 team, who would win that game?
He got mad about it?
He did, and after you answer, I'll tell you why. But I don't want to cloud your answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. I think the 17 team would win.
Okay.
I do. But the 22 team wasn't any slouches, and you get a couple of plays fall your way. I mean, that's the thing with football. Like, we like to think that like the best team always wins. In 2017, we just had everything clicking, lightning in a bottle, and the team was so tight, and we were like that in 22 as well. But maybe I'm just like, because we actually won it.
Yep.
I remember it differently. Like I will concede that I probably have a biased judgment just from the lens of that. But 2017, that line was unreal on both sides. Fletcher Cox is the best defensive lineman in football between him and Aaron Donald, at least on the interior.
Yeah.
Patrick Robinson, who was like a career kind of like journeyman, was like one of the best nickels in the league. Like, it was just crazy how well everything came together. And, you know, it felt like that team just had the it factor all year long. And, yeah, that would be my answer to it. But
yeah.
What do you think, Spike?
Well, just so you know, we talked to Doug yesterday, Peterson, about 17, and we just there was something about that team. There was just magic there.
Yep.
You can't, and the Foles part of it is just like the cherry on top of the magic. Is like you look at that, it's a one-time thing. So just so you know, like Fletcher got mad at me because he thinks it wouldn't even be close. And he said he actually seems to hate the 22 defense and noted that there were several selfish players on that defense and that it wasn't even close.
Gosh.
He kept repeating himself. Well, am I crazy for asking the question? I think the 17 team would win, but I think maybe it's because of the same thing.
It was a good, intense moment that we didn't know what to do with Fletcher.
Yeah, it did not.
I miss having those intense moments of fun. You don't want to be on the other side of that.
Last thing on 22, was the field as bad as everyone said?
You know, I didn't notice it at all, to be honest with you. But
there you go.
Okay.
Obviously, it did affect us. Like, we ran 2 tunnel screens to Dallas Goedert that were, wide open. And on both of them, he slips coming out of his break, and it ended up costing that play. And there was multiple points that the field was an issue for certain guys. But, you know, that's part of the environment. You got to wear the cleats that are giving you the best traction. And, like, that's one of the beautiful things about football. I know everybody hated that Denver Patriots game. I loved it, man. I love the
football,
snow.
Man.
I
Yes.
love when
Guys are
strategy
crazy.
comes involved.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand why. Like, I think it's cool when a coach makes a decision to concede on third down and punt because he knows the circumstances that the game is under, and he's going to be smart about it. Like, I like that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that I think both of the teams had to play in the field. I didn't notice it, but then again, I'm not getting as in extreme positions as Dallas Goedert, so maybe I'm not the best to ask for sure.
Well, how's my last one for you? How's post football life treating you? You know, you're a big
seem
star.
busy.
Yeah, you seem busy. We see you everywhere, man.
Are you doing hockey now too?
You're doing hockey now?
I was supposed to. So I love hockey. I grew up playing hockey, and I was going to do they have the Stadium Series with ESPN. I was going to do a game down in Tampa, and I messed my quad up squatting, and I couldn't go up and down stairs, so I had to go on IR, so I didn't end up getting to do the game. But I would love to do something with the Flyers in ESPN if time's up. But, yeah, listen, I'm busy, but it's weird. I'm less busy than I was as a player, but I'm more, like, inefficient busy.
Yeah.
Like, all the stuff is just all over the place, and it's not as centralized as NovaCare down in South Philly. So, you know, I would go crazy if I wasn't busy. That's just the way I'm wired.
Right.
I do need to keep active and doing things, and I know some people are certainly tired of seeing my ugly face on a television screen or coming across their Instagram feed. I get it. But, you know, listen, I'm only 38. I got to keep doing something.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So, you know, I love it. I get to stay a part of the game. I get to travel a bunch for my job. I got 4 kids, and my oldest one is doing gymnastics, and there's tons happening, but it's also just, it's a whirlwind. It's a lot of fun. I miss playing and being in the building every day to a degree, but I also absolutely love the very privileged life I get to lead that this game gave me. So, yeah. It's on. I'm at Fisherman's Wharf right now.
See, there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You're doing a great job,
drink
brother.
a beer with the sea lion, man. I can't.
Well, you're doing a great job. Like I said, we appreciate your time today, and it was really good. You know, you're on with the morning show all the time. You actually get to be on the varsity show rather than the JV this one time. So,
I knew this was coming.
And you didn't cry. You didn't cry.
That's right.
Yes.
We didn't make you cry either, man. No.
It was close, man. I was trying yesterday with the stout news, so you caught me good on the next day.
All right.
All right, brother. Enjoy yourself, man.
All right.
Thank you, Jason.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
There he is, Jason Kelce.